Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Q Nostalgia here, and today I want to talk to you guys about some things in EverQuest that I think maybe need to be updated, maybe need to be changed a little bit, just to give it a little bit better of an experience for people who are new to the game, coming into the game, and I think this would benefit everyone as a whole as well. This is to the veterans of EverQuest 1 and 2. I want you to understand something before I go too much further into this video, because I already know the reaction from 99% of you is going to be, really, dude? Fucking really? But as a person who's getting into this, pretty much, I can't really say the first time, but it's still very much a new experience to me. I don't have that much time in either one of the games, and I haven't played them in a while. It's, when you log in, it's very intrusive. The first thing that happens is your UI is all over the place. And what pisses me off is I know I saved my settings. I uninstalled the game, but evidently it doesn't save it to the cloud or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't save it server side. So when you uninstall the game, you have to fuck around with everything again. You have to put everything back where it was. So I log in, and I've got this mess of a UI. Everything's all over the place. Now, let's pretend that I don't know how to fix this. And this is my first time. I'm coming from, like, World of Warcraft. And I've heard about EverQuest, and it's the granddaddy of MMORPGs, and I want to check it out. The first thing that's going to happen is I'm going to log in and all this shit all over the screen. So why do I have two chat boxes that are gigantic on the bottom of my screen? That's the first thing that's really going to go through my mind. And then you're going to get hit with the, all access, buy this bullshit that pops up. So you close those, and now you're looking at a UI that looks like just a bad Sunday morning after eating Taco Bell and drinking a little bit too much. It's just, it's everywhere. So what you got to do is you got to close one of these chat boxes, right? So you'll figure that out. You'll close one, and then you'll just put all your chat into one box. But now your chat's going a little too fast because too much shit's popping up. So you'll go through and you'll figure it out. Eventually, you'll put exactly what needs to be there, and what doesn't really matter, you'll filter it out. Not only that, though, but you got to figure out how to move everything else around, like where your buffs are. So you got to move your buffs. Oh, why is this bar over here? Why is my pet bar down in the bottom right of the screen? It should be in the top left where my health bar is. So you'll move all that around. That'll take you about 20-30 minutes if you do that. That's if you do that. If you have the patience and you don't just look at it and go, yeah, this isn't for me, and log out, which I can tell you a lot of people probably have. So why is this a big deal? Well, because it can be easily fixed. EverQuest is on its 23rd expansion right now. 23 expansions. That's a lot of expansions, folks. I don't have to tell you that. And in that time, I guess it never really dawned on anyone over at Sony now, Daybreak, to maybe do some sort of a Q&A and ask people where they prefer the UI to be, just kind of to start off. Instead of just throwing it on the screen and letting you move it all around. It's like I said, it's not that big of a deal. But someone coming in, they might not know, oh, you just have to right-click and unlock it. You can unlock, because you can't move anything until you unlock it. So once you figure that out, you can start moving and stretching and moving things around where you want them. But a lot of people, this day and age, they're not going to do that. They're going to leave. And you can say, oh, those people are casual trash. They need to go back to World of Warcraft. But that doesn't work, because that's not how you get new people into EverQuest. I think that EverQuest really needs to do something about its first impressions for people and the way that it presents itself. I think things need to be changed in that regard. You might think that I'm crazy, but just because a game is older, I don't think that it has to have a menu system that looks like shit. When you open your menus, it looks so generic. It looks like something that some fucking indie team put together in an alpha phase, and it's not complete yet. That's exactly what it looks like when you open up the menus and shit. When you go into settings, what the fuck is that? They can't put some sort of like cool pattern around it and make it look nice. Put some, I don't know, some EverQuest colors into the background. Change the font so that it's like EverQuest style font, and it doesn't just look like regular font. You know what I mean? Little things like that, guys, are things that I don't know. It's a small complaint, but it's something that I think that they should strive towards. They should kind of bring EverQuest into the new generation. And when I say that, I don't mean they should continue to make it casual. I don't think that they should casualize it any further than they already have. There's a reason why we have TLP servers, and there's a reason why they're popular. There's a reason why P99 is popular, because people don't like the fact that the game has been casualized over the years. I don't mean that it should get easier. I just mean that the presentation should be better. When you log in, the UI shouldn't be all over the fucking place, right? in the settings when you open them up. It shouldn't look like this generic shit. It should look nice. Something nice. That's all I'm asking for, you know? And if people want that traditional old school menu for nostalgia, maybe just click a button and they can keep it, just like you can with older character models, something similar. But for fuck's sake, don't just throw the UI all over the place and say, oh, hey, here it is. Just figure it out. We'll just like a canvas, like an empty canvas with a bunch of tools sitting there. Move them where you want them. Fuck that. Put them in a place where they would normally be in most other MMORPG games, just to start there. And if people want to move them, they can. But don't just dump it all over the fucking screen. That's I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous. If they've got time to make all of these expansions, they've got time to go back and take a look at things that maybe should be updated, maybe shouldn't function the way that they did years and years ago. Me personally, I would love to see the original EverQuest get updated graphics. And I know that sounds really shallow. And some people are probably thinking, what the fuck? But seriously, the last time they updated it was, I think it was around 2003. I think Planes of Power. Somebody correct me if I'm mistaken. But it was a pretty decent leap up. Some people didn't like that. Some people liked the older character models, so they wanted to keep that. And they let them keep that. And that's awesome. Because let me tell you something about EverQuest Online Adventures and me. I personally like the older character models before Frontiers. Pre-Fronts, I thought they looked fantastic, especially the Dark Elves and the robes. The robes look terrible later on, and many people in the EQA community will testify to that. They will say, yeah, they look like raincoats and shit. Whereas before we had these awesome two-piece sets that people could have, and it just looked fantastic. But I think that there should be an option where they up the graphics for people that want to see EverQuest, new EverQuest. They want it to play like old EverQuest, but they want it to look new. You know, and I think that an aesthetic facelift could really go a long way for this game. I do, guys. I think that it could reinvent it in a way and get people feeling like, hey, this is fresh, it's new, it's exciting. I like these new character models. I like these new zones. And if you go into EverQuest, you'll notice that some zones haven't been redone since Planes of Power and on. They're still old school zones. And it's like, when you go into them, it's like, what the fuck? This is like the 1999 version or somewhere around that area. And it feels so weird. It's like being in a shoebox. And then you'll go into another zone, and it's like, oh, this is way more immersive. Like if you go into around Akanon, Steamfont Mountains, that's been redone. But I believe if you go to Surefall, it hasn't. So it's just so weird when that happens. It rips you right out of it. And it annoys the shit out of me. So they haven't even brought everything up to what they did with Planes of Power yet. And I'm asking them to make everything look better. I don't think that'll ever happen because they still haven't upgraded everything yet. I think that Daybreak really needs to reconsider all of these expansions, and they need to think about reworking the game, the way it looks. You know, both the UI and graphically. And as I said, if people don't like that, just fucking toggle a switch and go back to the way it used to be. Maybe the TLP servers don't have that at all. I don't know. But I really think it would be nice if they did something like that. And I think it would bring interest back into the game. And I want to see new people come into the game. And that's something that's difficult because, as I stated, 23 expansions. People tend to like to start with an MMORPG and not get into it when all this shit's been added already because it's daunting. I can tell you it's daunting for me. When I had a plan to play EverQuest 2 and show you guys the new Konark ascending areas and, get my Merc. I don't know where the Merc is. You have to go and get the Merc in the world. And people are telling me in chat, they're like, yeah, you got to go to such and such. I'm like, oh, fuck, where's that? I don't fucking know where that is. So I have to find where those things are. And I think that's a barrier for people, but I think you can get around that barrier. The fact that this game is on Steam, it's got a great review. Both of them do. They're both on Steam, good reviews. And, they're accessible. They're free to play. People can just get in there and start playing them. But because they're free to play, people are doubly quick to drop them if you don't catch them right away. And this is my message to Daybreak. You really need to make that first impressions a thing. So I think you need to rework at least the first EverQuest. You need to rework the graphics and things like that. And fix your menus and shit. And also with EverQuest 2, do something about the way the UI is. Just fix it so that it's in a decent place. And if people want to move it, they can. But they don't have to. Now, just to close out the video, because it's starting to get a little bit long here, I want to say that it's really hard to have an MMORPG and balance everything, because the very essence of an MMORPG is that you're always expanding, always going forward, always expanding, always going forward, right? But what happens to all the shit that came before that? It's now irrelevant. Nobody gives a fuck about it. Nobody wants to even bother with it. They just want to get to endgame because that's where everybody is. So you lose so many amazing things that were really awesome at one point. And that's why it sucks trying to get into EverQuest and EverQuest 2 right now, guys. And that's a hurdle that I don't think that Daybreak can really do anything about it. If you take a look at Blizzard with World of Warcraft, they tried really hard with Cataclysm. And all it really seemed to do was piss off a lot of people. Oh, fuck, they ruined the world. What the fuck did they do with Thunder Bluff? What the fuck happened in this area? 1,000 Needles, it's flooded. It's terrible. Then you had all these people that got pissed. But they successfully reinvigorated that content for a while. They did. And when I went back and played it, I was like, oh, this is fucking sweet. I mean, yeah, it sucks that all the things that I remember aren't there anymore, but, you know, or they look really different because they've been fucking destroyed and obliterated, but they made an effort. And I think that it worked for a while. Well, now it's not. It's obviously back to where it was before. And a tremendous amount of work would have to go into reworking it a third time. And would it really be worth it? I don't know. You know, that might fail. That might just piss people off. But it's tough. And I understand that. And I think everybody else has to understand that. And I think that's one of the biggest hurdles for people trying to get into this game, is the fact that if you happen to be like me and you love the leveling experience and it means a lot to you, you're going to have a rough time with that, because it's going to be you and your merc, and that's going to be about it unless you start with some of your friends or you happen to get in a TLP server when it's new. That's why those are so popular, because that leveling experience is profound. It's the most fun that I've ever had in an MMORPG. Forget about endgame. Fuck endgame, folks. Okay? I'm going on the record and I'm saying that legit right now. Okay? I understand that it's fun, and I do have fun with endgame and MMOs and shit. But the leveling experience, man, you can really only have it once, right? Maybe you can have it a couple times, but for the most part, just really once. And after that, it's all about, oh, I want to check out how this character plays through this content. And that's the way I played EQOA. I had a million alts because I loved that feeling. And when the people went away and they weren't there anymore, that's when I went away. That's when I stopped playing EverQuest Online Adventures. And it's something that, you know, it's like I realize this about myself over and over again every time I try to play an older MMO. And there it is. That's why I'm struggling to bring you guys content on these expansions. And, you know, I'm sorry. But I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. I hope you get it. Because it sucks, you know. And that's why I'm so hyped for Pantheon, because it's going to be a new game. Everybody's starting. You guys, you see where this is going? I can't wait to do that, to start with everybody fresh again and go through that leveling content again. That is fun. That is so much fun. And yes, my tastes have kind of changed over the years. I like action combat more than I like traditional combat. It's just the way it is. I love Vermintide for its action combat. I'd love to see something like that in an MMORPG. But I don't think we're going to be there for a while. You know, I think it's harder when you add thousands of people and thousands of NPCs. It's hard to get that responsiveness that you can from like a 4-player co-op game. But anyways, I digress. The point of this video is it's so hard to get into EverQuest 1 and 2 at this point, because they're so long in the tooth. They've gone on for so long. And all there really is just hopping to endgame. That's why they give you a level 100 if you get, you know, a certain edition of the game. They give you a free level 100. And a lot of people get pissed off about that, and I got pissed off about that with World of Warcraft, but I can see why they're doing it. Because there's really nothing there in between. There's no people. So that's why. They just want to rocket you to where people are. And that still doesn't work for me, because like I said, I'm all about that leveling content. But enough about me. I want to hear from you guys. I know a lot of you love EverQuest out there. I know a lot of my subs are MMORPG fans. I expect a lot of interaction in the comment section from you guys. Seriously, let's start a fucking dialogue here. Let's talk about this. If you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to rate it thumbs up. I thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video.